Yeah, willkommen in Berlin again.
Again.
Here
we are, day 3.
And as you might be able to see, we're near a wall. It's not the wall, but it's a wall, and this is in our area called, is it Kreuzberg we're in,
yep.
Which is quite a nice area actually. It's quite a hip little area actually. And we're on our way back, and this is Astronaut Man. There's quite a few murals, big huge murals around on walls in this particular area, right up to the River Spree, which we've just been coming to. What have we been doing today though?
Well, today's
been a bit of another heavy day in a way, isn't it?
All about walls today. So obviously in Berlin, the Berlin Wall. So that's what we've been up to.
We started off by going to a place called Bernauer Strasse, which was literally the road was bisected by the wall when it was built, and it went along the whole length of that particular road. And it's so well done because it's in a real residential area, isn't it?
Yes.
A very ordinary street, which in some ways is great because it affected ordinary people. It wasn't all just about the city centre. It went through these places out in the suburbs, so to speak, and all the way along the road they've got information panels, and there's actually bits of the wall there are still there. They got plans of how it all worked. A row of like piles of metal poles which showed the exact location. Once again, the two sort of stones going along the road. And plaques actually in the ground as well. Can you remember them?
I do. When the wall was originally put up, the border of it happened to be the edge, the outside wall of the road, the houses.
So they're not coming for us, it's all right. I don't think they are anyway.
So when the wall first went up and the East Berliners realised what was going on, they would jump out of their windows because that would take them onto the west side. And
they were helped by the West Berlin Fire Service, who caught them literally in blankets and things that they were actually issued with. They took them, and people would give signals to do this jumping, or even out of the windows, because as Julie said, the houses were literally right up against what became the wall. At first it was just barbed wire, wasn't it?
Yeah, first barbed wire, then it evolved as more and more people got through, basically. It evolved from a roll of barbed wire to what we all think of now as the Berlin Wall. But it really struck us, being in a residential area, how the wall affected everyone's lives. If you can imagine at the end of your road, a roll of barbed wire going up, and the other side of it are the people you love, your
work,
family, your work.
School.
And you can't get to them anymore. Overnight, you can't get to them anymore.
And it's quite emotional, some of that, because there's a really good exhibition at the end, which is worth going to, which is free. Once again, I mean, all this is free, so it's in a residential area, and there's quite a long section of the wall there as well, and explaining it all. It would be too long to go into details, but I found it quite touching, quite emotional. Especially the human stories about how it affected at the time. Yeah, but there's one woman who lived on one side of the East German side. Her daughter lived on the West German side, literally across the street, as we were saying. She tried to jump out of her building, was caught by the fire service, but was severely injured. Unfortunately, died the next day. And there's a plaque in the ground for her. And also, they show you where the tunnels were built that people got across, and even where people ran across or jumped across or got across in one way. There was actually one coming the other way, wasn't it? Do you remember that? That was weird.
Completely wrong. Don't know why he bothered to do that.
From really there, we went more wall experience. We caught the tram. We wanted to catch the tram. Well, you certainly wanted to catch the tram, which was good because it took us right through the old East German side of the city, the suburbs that we were looking at from the TV tower yesterday, and it's just rows and rows of high-rise buildings, apartments, and as Julie was saying on the tram, you can understand why people thought, well, it's not worth us moving because it's exactly the same wherever we went, because it looked exactly the same, but quite soulless, although there was areas of it that weren't too bad. And then we went to a place that's called the East Side Gallery, which is literally, as you can imagine, it was on the east side of the river and also the east side of the boundary as well. The River Spree cuts along there, and the East Germans built the wall on their side of the river, and it's been decorated by street artists from 1990 right up to the present day on the East German side, being the fact that they couldn't get anywhere near that at the time. The West German side they probably could do, but they didn't bother. But in some ways there's some amazing street art there, but it was a bit tacky and touristy, wasn't it, after what we've done before?
A little bit contrived. But what we have found walking back to where we're living at the moment is some less contrived street art on the side of buildings like the one behind us.
Yeah, and there's more of them like this as well.
And this area of Berlin particularly, there's a lot of street art, a lot of what I'd call graffiti.
Yeah, there's the difference. I always call it all the mindless tagging. There's plenty of that, which I call graffiti. But this, as this person here and others like it, there's some real good street art as well. So it's been great. I mean, we're on our way back. We thought it'd stop. I'll just do a quick panorama actually, because we got the S-Bahn railway up here, which goes. It looks, it reminds me of like Chicago or something like that. This cuts across parts of the city, and this is, we thought we'd stop in this. It's a bit of an edgier area, this, isn't it?
Yeah,
some guy tried to fight me earlier. I don't know what he was completely off his head, thankfully, I suppose. But anyway, that's any sort of weird thing that we've had happen to us, isn't it? But so we're heading back now. I think we might even go to a gig tonight, I believe.
We might do. There's one thing we need to mention though.
What?
Don't we? Somebody, one of us, spent
the wall. I've got a bit of the wall.
25 euros on a piece of concrete.
It's a wall. It's a bit of the wall. It was in the official shop at Checkpoint Charlie yesterday or the day before. Mine's gone already. And it's an official piece of the wall. But Julie seems to be a bit sceptical. I've got a certificate. It says it's a piece of the wall.
That's okay then. However, when we get back to our apartment, there's a small courtyard. So I'm going to take a chisel out there and get a bit of wall, and
Julie seems to think that I've got a piece of a wall, not necessarily the wall. So some guy called Heinrich, who lives in Berlin's had his garden wall chopped down, and I happen to have a piece of it. Anyway, I'm not quite so cynical as that. So we shall see. Anyway, auf Wiedersehen for now.
Auf Wiedersehen.